What's going on, guys? Crypto Poppy here. Let's get it. All right, guys. Welcome back to the channel. This episode is special for me. 2 days ago, I tweeted that I hit $1 million valuation on my crypto and NFT accounts. That for me is an incredible accomplishment that I could not have thought about 6 months ago. Now, let me say this. Absolutely, everything can come crashing down tomorrow, and that $1 million can be worth $10,000 tomorrow. And I'm okay with that. But I'm going to talk to you about my journey, how I got here, and what I plan to do next. So let's start with where my journey started with crypto. In 2017, right around December, I heard of this thing called crypto. It wasn't the first time that I had heard of it, but I had ignored it all the way up until then. A friend of mine called me and said, "Listen, man, I'm into this crypto thing and I think you would like it and I think you should pay attention to it." And he started breaking down the numbers of how much he was making mining crypto. Instantly, I was hooked. I was researching the technology. I was not even looking at the investment side. I was just really interested in what you could do with crypto, how to make a coin, how to mine coins, and started to make a plan for myself. So before putting a penny into crypto, I had a very good understanding of the technology itself. You see, I'm just a geek by nature. I've been gaming pretty much my entire life. I've been in IT pretty much my entire life. And I just love fixing gadgets. And so, as soon as I came into contact with crypto, it really felt like it was all of my skills and talents put together in a package that I could easily understand. And at the same time, make money? Of course, I was interested. So in 2018, in January, Bitcoin fell by 50%. And that's when I thought, now might be a good time. I remember watching Bitcoin go up to $20,000 and then it came back down to $10,000. And that's right around the time that I got my Christmas bonus. Well, it was time to take $20,000 and buy myself a couple of Bitcoin. I didn't buy it all at once, I averaged in. But of course, I had no idea that I was in for a 3 year dreadful bear market. And even though I bought crypto, Bitcoin specifically, after it was down 50%, after that I watched my portfolio go down another 90% from where I bought. I had structured my portfolio Bitcoin 50%, Ethereum about 30%, and the other 20% were just a bunch of shitcoins, as we like to call them, and just a mixture of things that I liked at the time. I remember being very focused on infrastructure type coins, ETH type killers. For example, Zilliqa is still one that I have to this day. Now, through this bear market, I watched a lot of YouTubers. I stopped thinking about crypto for months at a time. Then I would get addicted again. And then I started mining to have some fun with crypto. I started day trading. That didn't go so well, to have some fun with crypto. A little story that I want to tell you is that when Bitcoin was at like $4,000, I bought a Bitcoin and I transferred it over to a site called BitMEX where you get to do high leverage trading. This was before I had even taken a course. I lost that Bitcoin in 24 hours trading. I never told my wife that. Now, the most important thing that I can say about the bear market is that I never really lost hope. Don't get me wrong, I had to look away from my account for months at a time because that's just the way I deal with bear markets. It's really easy to make a really dumb decision when you're looking at your account every day and every day it drops 10 to 20%. The bear market for me was really mostly about observing, learning, teaching myself new skills that I didn't have, and being very confident that someday I would see another bull market. I had no idea when. I didn't know if the cycle was going to repeat again 3 years later or if it was going to be 10 years. But I was fairly positive, and I told my wife that I thought crypto would change our life someday. So in comes the crypto bull run. And at this point, I've been trading in a bear market. I feel like I'm pretty decent. I find myself understanding the fact that I'm a terrible day trader, but I'm a really good swing trader. So I tend to see the patterns that play out over time, but I overtrade when I trade on a daily basis. So I thought I'm going to make a channel and I'm going to talk to whatever audience wants to listen in terms of my combination of knowledge on crypto itself and blockchain technology, along with my experience trading it, and let's see where it takes us. So I spent the first month on YouTube talking about Bitcoin and ETH and some of my favorite shitcoins and where I thought the market was going and how confident I was that we were in a bull market that was going to tear faces. And in many ways, boy, it has. But there was one game changing thing that happened to me. As I joined Twitter with my Crypto Poppy account and started to do more research on the NFT side, which was something that I had heard of, that I was interested in, that's when I came across NBA Top Shot. Now, look, you're not going to believe this, but I had read NFTs inside out by February of 2021. I knew how they worked and the concept of the smart contract and all that stuff, but I didn't actually know NBA Top Shot existed. Who the heck knows how that got past me? Probably because I wasn't on Twitter. So I get on Twitter, I find out about an NBA Top Shot, and I have this moment where everything just came together. You gotta understand that my entire crypto career, if you want to call it that, I had this vision that crypto wasn't really about coins that we were buying and white papers with zero value or a roadmap that developers were never going to meet their timelines on and maybe never even intended to deliver on. It always felt like that was highly speculative stuff. But I always felt like crypto was going to change the world in many ways. And I also felt that once I started reading about NFTs, that they would revolutionize everything that we do. Every part of every business will someday, in my mind, have NFTs involved. And so here I find out about NBA Top Shot, and it's like my dream come true. My sports fanaticism with NFTs that I've been reading about, with crypto and trading and investment, it was literally everything packaged up to something that I understood and that it made a lot of sense that for me, this was something that was going to be big. So at that point, I transitioned my channel to not just talk about crypto, but I've got this NFT thing just tugging at me. And I buy my first NBA Top Shot moment. And that feeling of opening a digital pack and the fact that someday it could be worth more. And the fact that we were so early in the space, it just kept tugging at me. And it kept me so distracted from what my initial mission was, which was to teach everybody about cryptocurrencies and especially help beginners out with funding their accounts and maybe even becoming traders. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop engaging with NBA Top Shot, with reading more about NFTs and figuring out what was next. Sure, I bought effectively the top of NBA Top Shot. I remember I bought a LeBron James No Look 3 for $1,200 and he had come down from $2,200. So just like with crypto, my policy is invest when things are down 50%. And I guess just like with crypto, they can go down a whole another 90%. So yeah, that didn't really deter me though. I mean, I've been through a bear market. I spent 3 years trying to ignore my account while at the same time learning about the technology. And that's kind of what I was doing with NBA Top Shot. But I was eagerly interested in what was going to come next. What other NFTs were out there? There were some out there that at that time hadn't really called my name. I talked about So Rare. I never really invested in it, even though I'm a massive soccer fan. Personally, I just didn't see the innovation, and I saw NBA Top Shot turning, digital pictures into moments instead. And I don't know, just Dapper Labs just had such a different feeling. But I wanted more. I knew that there was a side to NFTs that I still hadn't learned. So I started exploring Nifty Gateway and Rarible and a little bit of OpenSea. And I found some art. For example, this one was the first NFT that I ever bought in my MetaMask account. And that was just art that I liked from Nas, who I love. So why not? I grew up listening to him. Buy it. It was relatively cheap. But there was one night that I vividly remember that everything really changed for me. And that was the night that I minted apes. At this point, I'm still very new to the game. I've barely bought anything with my MetaMask account. I barely know how to use my MetaMask account. I had never actually minted something on a website. And I'm on Twitter and I see people going crazy about, holy, mint these apes. And there's not many left. And I remember going on the website and minting one ape. At the time, that was a big risk for me to take into something that was completely unknown. And I kind of took that risk just to learn what would happen. And I remember going upstairs and going to bed and lying down in bed. And my thought was, those things were moving really fast. It sounds like that could be a pretty interesting project. I'll pick some more up in the morning. Well, I woke up in the morning, and like many others have told you this story, they were sold out. I can't remember how long it was after that my ape was revealed. It wasn't long. It might have been the next day. And I hated my ape. I remember looking at him going, this guy looks nothing like me and I don't like him. And I sold him right away, I think for zero point 0.1 ETH. But I saw something special that same day where everybody was changing their profile pictures to the apes. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. For me, I didn't know if this was something new or something old. It was just happening before my eyes. Little did I know that this was actually a very new phenomena that would start the profile picture phenomena. The punks were around before the apes, but I've never seen a movement like the night or the day that the apes were revealed and what happened that day. It felt like a bunch of people were united. People from different political views, religious beliefs, countries, languages, everybody came together. And all of a sudden, this community was formed instantly overnight and united from these apes, which, by the way, at the time, I must admit, I didn't even think they were that good looking. So I sell the ape and I buy a couple. I buy a couple that I like off of the floor. And at this point, I'm all in on BAYC. I start to meet more apes. I see apes starting to become entrepreneurs instantly. People figuring out a way to deliver value back to the apes. It was an incredible movement that set the stage for me to really appreciate the magnitude and this, what was really going to happen with NFTs over the next 6 months. Now, on February 7th, I made a video, which was the most important video that I've ever made. Thank God I listened to my own advice on that video. But that, for me, was really the game-changing moment that told me NFTs are going to be big, and they're going to be even bigger than I can imagine. So I'm now an ape, and of course, all of a sudden I have way more followers as soon as I change my picture to the ape. But not only that, all of a sudden I'm having conversations with a bunch of like-minded people, everybody strategizing about what they're going to do next. And so what that really made me realize, and if you still don't understand why people like us are buying NFTs, it's because of the information, and information is power. So belonging to a community has its certain perks. But in the NFT space, I think it has the most perks because you have the ability to understand where everybody else is going to invest, what they like, what they're bullish on. And, in some ways that can really help. At this point, crypto's mooning. It's hitting all-time highs every other week. The $20,000 that I initially invested hit up to $140,000. And everything is just bullish. At the same time, NBA Top Shot is crashing like a bear market that I've never seen before. And I'm just selling my crypto and buying NBA Top Shot. And of course, a little bit of ETH to my MetaMask to mint some apes and whatever else comes along. But I bought that NBA Top Shot with conviction. Now, I don't know if it was experience, having looked at charts for a long time, just having a gut feeling that this bull market could not last forever. And I'm one to try to play the swings of the different bull markets. I make a decision. At this point, Bitcoin's down to 60K. It had gone up a little bit higher, came back down. My account is at about 120K. And I make a decision that I'm just going to go all in on NFTs. I really felt like the bull market was probably close enough to coming to an end and that NFTs were going to be the next big wave. So I went in on Top Shot. I added with my credit card to NBA Top Shot. And at the same time, I started becoming a full-time degen, researching projects, minting projects. You remember the days where we used to actually research a project before you minted it? Yeah, when things were that slow. But yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of what I did. And over time, I started to learn the tricks of the trade, understanding what projects to buy, what projects not to buy. I mean, if you're in the NFT degen space, you've been rug pulled at least once. I was rug pulled with Appimon. way overpaid for my eggs in a FOMO bonding curve that doesn't even exist anymore because we won't accept it. I've made every single mistake that you could imagine. And it taught me just what mistakes not to make again. Now, look, at this point, times got a little bit rough. I'm not going to lie. My NBA Top Shot portfolio is down an insane amount to the point where I'm not even looking at it anymore. My NBA Top Shot portfolio was down so much that at one point I felt like I had lost everything that I had gained in crypto. Imagine that. There was a point in time, I remember, where my account was so low with NBA Top Shot and I had no liquidity left in my MetaMask because I had just completely FOMO'd into a bunch of different projects that I liked. And I didn't have a penny to my name. All I had was assets. But there was something that just kept telling me, hold on, you're making good decisions. It's just the wrong time. Your time will eventually come. This is how it feels to be really early. When pretty much everybody around you is saying, you're out of your mind. I can't believe you sold Bitcoin for JPEGs and videos that I can basically watch on YouTube. You know, my closest friends, the people that were with me in crypto, not a single one followed me in. And I felt like an outcast and a bit of an outsider within real life. Having said that, I had this entire community of NFT degens that I was meeting that were as passionate as I was. That gave me a lot of strength to get through effectively what was a bit of a bear market. And I just took strength from people that had succeeded in this space before. And with the fact that it still really felt like I was so early to something that's going to last generations and lifetimes. So at some point, I start to really get a knack for trading, in particular apes. I would have 6 apes in my wallet. I would flip 2. I would make an ETH there, make an ETH there. I kind of took my trading skills and started using it to trade apes. But for some reason, I could just see sort of when that top was going to happen. I would sell an ape. I would wait for them to come back down and retrace, and I would buy more apes. I think at one point I sold 1 ape and then bought 2 apes with the profits. So I was shorting apes in a way. And, you know, in that bull market, things seemed pretty predictable. Now, the funny story is that I think I may have had up to 8 apes in my wallet at one point. And if I kept the 8 apes now, well, I'd still be a millionaire just with apes. So if I just bought one of those gold apes that I saw that were like 4 ETH, which were too expensive at the time, be a millionaire as well. But nevertheless, I took a lot of lessons from understanding and trading and minting and being involved in the discords, being involved on Twitter to really figure out something that worked for me and a strategy that worked for me. My main 2 strategies that I use that have worked really, really well for me, and I'll go into this in more detail in a separate video, is I like to buy things that are getting dumped. I love to buy panic. And I was the same way with crypto. I like to buy the dip. Well, I love to buy the dip with projects that are basically revealed. Everybody dumps their commons. I buy up all of their commons well below min price. And for the most part, they seem to go up. I don't understand why not everybody has figured this out. Because there are only very few projects that I'm invested in that I bought the dip on that I actually haven't gone up. And most of those are because literally the developer is non-existent and there's no community. So those are actually easier to detect now that I've learned my lesson. The moral of the story is, over the last 3 months in particular, I've amassed a collection of NFTs, of Ethereum as well, which is really my currency, and of NBA Top Shot that 2 days ago, with a very conservative estimate, hit $1 million. Now look, you might say to me, the responsible thing to do is cash some out. But look, in my eyes, this is not $1 million. In my eyes, this is still that $20,000 bonus that I put into crypto that happens to be worth more. But the more important thing is that I'm part of this revolution that I don't think is going to stop anytime soon. Sure, absolutely, we could see a bear market. And we could see a lengthy 3-year bear market. But after every bear market, there's the next bull market. And the next bull market is always stronger than the previous bear market. I firmly believe that even if we see a bear market and lots of things go to zero, there are certain blue chip projects like the Bored Apes, the Punks, the Gutter Cats, to name a few, that I think will be with us for a lifetime. And so when I take my profits in ETH. I don't have the need to take money out for real life situations. My wife and I live quite fine. My kids don't need money, they need lessons. So the last thing I'm going to do is cash money out and give it to them. I'd rather actually give them crypto and teach them what to do with their crypto. And so because of that, to me, this is still that $20,000 with a higher valuation. Now, it's actually quite incredible that over time, I have become a lot more protective of my ETH and more stingy with it. So, over the last 2 weeks, I have not minted much at all, maybe just a few projects. I've bought the floors of some projects that have dumped, and they're doing okay now. Actually, most of them are up again. But I haven't really been biting in hard. And it's just because I'm appreciating sort of actually having this Ethereum and waiting for the really good projects. I just feel like I'm in a really good state of mind right now, and I'm prepared. I'm prepared for whatever comes next. Look, if there's a big bear market right around the corner, then I feel like I'm diversified enough, but I also feel like I'm consolidated enough into the blue chips that I'd be okay holding what I have. I do have some more selling to do because there's still stuff I'm buying that's still going up, and I just need to sell some of it. Look, at the end of the day, I am a pretty big NFT flipper, and some people might hate me for that. But there aren't that many projects that I'm fully committed to, like the Bears, the Apes, the Cats, NBA Top Shot. I've never sold anything out of NBA Top Shot, by the way, and I don't really plan to. I just kind of let that go, and heck, if that also hits $1 million someday, amazing. If it doesn't matter. That's not really what I'm looking for with NBA Top Shot. I'm really bullish on its utility and everything else that comes with it. The point being is, I'm enjoying this right now. I think I'm being pretty responsible, and I'm not playing with any money that I can't afford to lose. So at this point, I'm kind of all in on NFTs, and I don't really see me changing that anytime soon, bear market or not. I think I've amassed enough experience that I could even help us get through this bear market when and if it ever comes. I have a dream now of opening up Crypto Poppy Degen Studios and probably launching my own project, but I'm not going to do that until I'm fully ready and committed to give it my all forever. I am not going to do a project that is going to cash grab and walk away. I mean, I'm not Anon. I'm here on YouTube talking to you, and I want to make sure that when and if I do something, that it's the right project and that it's at the right time. And I love working with other people and advising people and consulting because that's actually what I come from. I was an IT consultant for most of my life. And so I love seeing gaps that people have in their knowledge and educating and helping. And I think 4 months in the NFT degen space is like a lifetime for a lot. So what comes next for me? Well, it's not selling my crypto, selling all my NFTs. It's really focusing on creating really good content, on advising businesses and projects that want to get off the ground, on helping to educate you, the audience, on NFTs. And I'd love it if I could tell you all the mistakes I made so that you don't have to make them. I now have had quite a few new friends joining the game, friends and family, that I would be crushed if they're coming in and buying the top of the NFT market. So I'm spending some time to make sure that they don't repeat any of the mistakes that I made, because I can lose my own money, but I have a really hard time if I was partially responsible for influencing someone into losing their money. And judging by my chicken derby video, clearly you guys love interviews of founders, and I'm going to put a really big effort in doing that as well. I'm also spending some time with friends on other YouTube channels like NFT God's channel, where I'm there almost on a weekly basis. And so I'm so excited about what the future brings for many of us in this NFT space. Almost every day I hear about someone quitting their job and going all in on NFTs. And I'm so freaking proud of what this space has become over the last 6 months. The friends that I've made that are practically like family, that in many ways I talk to more than my family. So many of you out there have helped me through really stupid mistakes that I made, or by validating some of the good moves that I made as well. And so I just want to say, I love you all. I am so pumped for whatever's coming next. Bring it, whether it's good or whether it's bad. All of it is going to be a learning lesson. And just remember, if you love what you're doing, then do it with conviction. Until next time, thanks for stopping by. Love you all. Peace.